All right, Nick, let's talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We've been talking about it all offseason. The quarterback battle has been decided. Dylan Raiola is going to be the guy, but I don't think that Heinrich Haarberg is going to be cast aside. I think Matt Rhule has some interesting plans for him coming up. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, Matt Rhule has come out in a statement and said some really interesting things for his plans for what he is going to do this season, potentially with Heinrich Haarberg. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from SI.com. It says, Heinrich Haarberg did not win Nebraska's football starting quarterback job, but don't expect him to be relegated to holding a clipboard on the sidelines this fall. Speaking after Friday morning's practice, head coach Matt Rhule said the junior's talents and versatility are too valuable to allow to go to waste. He said he can go out and do anything. Heinrich, to me, could be a great safety. Probably he'd be a great tailback, a wideout, a tight end, and so we have the opportunity to use him when needed. At the same time, I don't want to lose my number 2 quarterback, so there's a fine line there, but we made a decision that we're going to attack. We're going to go all in on this team and attack with everything we have, and Heinrich is a part of that, so we're going to use him. Nick, I think this is really interesting game planning from Matt Rhule. I think he's got something cooking up here, because we all know how athletic and talented Heinrich Haarberg is. I'm curious what your thoughts on this one are, but before we get to you, Nick, Nebraska fans, in the comment section below, the season is almost upon us. First games are rolling out today. We're about to see Nebraska hit the field in some real football. So before that happens, let us know in the comment section below, what are your final predictions for the record for Nebraska this season? What are your win-loss predictions for the Nebraska Cornhuskers this season? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about this interesting news about Heinrich Haarberg?
I think it's a genius move by Matt Rhule and the Nebraska coaching staff for a couple reasons. First, at the top line, when you're looking at how it impacts Nebraska going forward this season, how they perform on the field, Matt Rhule hits the nail on the head here. Haarberg's a great athlete. He's a phenomenal just football player. As he is a good a quarterback in the traditional sense as Dylan Raiola is right now and certainly will be? No, not even close. I think we all understand that. But he's still a great player. He's still a physical, tough presence who can do a lot of things for you, right? I don't know about the safety positions, but I love him as sort of a, change of pace running quarterback in certain situations, make opposing defenses have to plan for him, and that's where the genius of this comes in for Matt Rhule. I love when coaches sit there and don't just assign backup quarterbacks to holding a clipboard. They say, listen, we're going to come up with packages, we're going to get him involved somewhat. What does that do to opposing defensive coordinators? Now they have to game plan for Dylan Raiola and Haarberg, right? And that takes valuable resources away from just focusing on Raiola, and now they've got to spread them out. They got to come up with a plan. Okay, what do we do when Haarberg comes into the game? What do we check to? What's our calls defensively? And so instead of spending, say, all week, every hour of practice focusing on Raiola, they now have to spend a good chunk of time on Haarberg, which of course dilutes their ability to prepare, which helps out Nebraska, right? This is just smart, kind of gamesmanship at that level, which is a great move by Matt Rhule. But also I think it's really smart because Haarberg's a talented young player. And the reality is in today's game in college football with the transfer portal, a lot of talented young guys that want to fly around, they're looking for the next opportunity to get more playing time. By sticking with Haarberg, giving an opportunity to get back on the field in other ways, I think he's sending a message to players that don't necessarily win starting jobs, that they will still have a big impact on the team, which I think will help them out securing and retaining talent instead of losing guys through the transfer portal. So I think overall this is a really smart move by Matt Rhule and the Nebraska coaching staff.
Yeah, and again, I agree, and I want to touch on 2 things you said first, and I think it's great. One, Rhule actually alludes to this later in the article, talking about his game plan and making people have to game plan for both guys as well. He says, I probably don't want to give too much information out there to everybody, meaning he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and just saying things like this are definitely going to keep people on their toes. But 2, I don't even think it's just other players. He talks about how talented Haarberg is. He's not starting quarterback caliber versus Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola obviously won that battle, but he's a really good player. And he could probably go play on a lot of other teams throughout college football as well. So I think even just giving him that role, promising, hey, we're going to use you, we're going to get you out there and get some action in the game, I think he's going to help secure Haarberg as well. So I think that's a really smart move by Matt Rhule to retain his really talented athletic players. But I think to myself, I say, where could Matt Rhule possibly have gotten an idea like this? And then you think about it just for a short second. He's seen a player just like Harburg day in, day out. They played twice a year. Talking about in the NFC South when he was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, he saw a guy like Taysom Hill all the time who's very similarly athletic, big quarterback, could play tight end, could play tailback. I don't know about safety, like you said, that one. I haven't seen him do that, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But definitely wide receiver, tight end, tailback. This guy could be a dual threat weapon, and we see how effective Taysom Hill is when he is implemented in the NFL as well. I think this is a great move by Matt Rhule, and I think it's going to make Nebraska a very hard team to prepare for this coming season.